G'day, my name is Dainsy and I'm preparing a whole heap of timber. I'm continuing on with the journey of discovery as I prepare my future self with a set of skills I call full business human. To recap, my current plan is to use everything I have right here, right now, to make things and sell things. Genius. My last two projects were quite time intensive and I chose those to get a better idea of how long I spend on a particular project. One was a commission, beauty, I knew I was getting paid. The second was a project I plucked from my brain with the hope of selling it to raise the funds for Operation Table Saw Upgrade. I am still hopeful. For these projects, I'm going to revert back to what I know should work. Projects that normally sell pretty easy, lower price point and far less work, which is a hallway table. How it all started. Made from pallet wood and reclaimed timber. And I'm also going to use a technique that lets you stretch your nice pallet wood further and also create some sought after rustic charm. If you are wondering how this big half of a log is going to fit into the story, well, let me tell you. This video has a little treat. Two projects on the go at the same time, both made quickly to sell, we hope. Did he just say we? I hear you say, through the internet. So I have my son Harley with me on this video. I am teaching him woodwork as one of his homeschool subjects. We are deviating from the curriculum because we want to make something cool, which includes this big log. The other bonus is we are double dipping the system. Another of Harley's subjects requires a mini business plan to be produced. So while I'm going full business human, he is going full mini business human. Now, just like back at high school, the timber was always prepared, squared up and ready to go because time is of the essence, which is the same here in the shed. The idea is also to focus on getting comfortable with the machinery, attempt the cool stuff and leave the boring hard yakka to Dad. I want him to come back. And plus, machining up the timber, well, that is my special time, if you know what I'm saying. Alrighty, while I am making the bricklaying hallway table, Harley will be cracking on with his bench, porch bench, a place to get your boots on and off, if you will. We are going with a fairly simple design, big log on top, square legs down below. It'll have bridle joints on all the legs. However, we are not busting out the tenon saw or the chisel on these. We are going to create our bridle joints by laminating our reclaimed decking together. With the timber all planed to the same thickness, you merely have to cut two different lengths and use your opposing sides as spaces. As long as you glue it up carefully, it should all go to plan. Right, back to the hallway table. And what I like to call bricklaying the pallet wood. There is many ways to get this done. Your tools and machinery will soon dictate that to you in your shed. The secret though is making sure all your bricks are dimensioned to the exact same size and they are nice and square. I used to make these bricks way back. When I did not have a thickness planer or a jointer, I would flatten all my slabs by hand with a router. Then I would slice up the bricks on the table saw, remembering that there is nothing a belt sander can't fix. Hopefully you're enjoying this cheesy 80s music montage. And you are getting pumped up like you would watching the Karate Kid wanting to have a go for yourself. So you can either create yourself these big box joints and glue the corners or the waterfall up as step one, or create your top and your sides separately, clean them up, bash them together with an Allen. Okay, quick update. This is basically what the corner pieces would look like as you laminate the big box or the finger joints together. What I would do is get a nice, perfect square corner to start with, and I would set myself up to start some sort of stagger. None of these pieces are ever the same. It does not matter. I will then stick it on a flat surface. Make sure this is right angles to the bench. Work my way along for the short side. Clean that up with the belt sander, etc. I'll then flip it over and make my way along the entire bench, bricklaying as I go. And because I don't actually have enough pallet wood to do the side and the top, and I also want to try something new, I also need a little bit of contrast and some serious check squaring to make sure this works first attempt. I have this reclaimed hardwood of varying species, mostly Hardius Fucarius. Again, the timber needs to be milled up to the exactamondo dimensions of the pallet wood bricks. I need to whip up a little cross-cut sled so I can cut the chamfers on the tops of the fingers. I did try the router, however it was a bit of a shit fight. This way looks Mickey Mouse. So again, I use spacers to help set my box joint and a whole heap more check squaring and double check squaring. If this glue up is just millimeters out of whack, it is going to stand out like you know what on a small yellow bird. I'm doing my young fella a solid and cleaning up all his pieces with the machines. His first experiences with a hand plane should not be with my less than awesome sharp plane blades. Once I learn to sharpen properly, then we will move on to hand tools. Going to use my vise in anger. I'll admit it's not the fastest vise in the world. My chisels are acceptably sharp to have a bit of a go at clearing out the waste from the table saw assisted half lap joints. There was one bridle joint that did slip while gluing up. We could have made a whole new section, however the learning experience of how to cover up your dodgies was far too vague. That is what I tell myself. Anyway. What do you got to say?
Check square.
Right, song change, and we are back to the brick lane. Lay down some baking paper underneath and then simply work your way along. Test out what looks nice before you commit to the tight bond. The main reason I don't cut my bricks the same size, a la real bricks, is to limit the waste of the pallet slabs. I merely cut off the bricks wherever that length of pallet stops looking good, as in where all the ends of the pallets meet. The width of my top and sides would actually be fine to go through the planer. However, that would then make a meal of my nice chamfered fingers. So a quick clean up with the belt sander was all that was required, again, because the bricks were all dimensioned nice and perfect. Mahli is on the job trenching out the log. The legs will sit nicely in these recesses after some delicate chisel work with the 50mm Narex weapon. All the pieces are coming together now, and this bench is going to look pretty rad. What is even cooler, the big log was given to us by Harley's Poppy. So I'm pretty stoked with how it is working out. Pop will be proud as a proud thing. I would like to quickly tell you how I've been going full business human. You know, the business stuff that no one really wants to do, the bookwork, the back of house. That is why I'm now using Tradify. It is an all-in-one job management software for tradies and shed-dwelling side hustlers like me. Tradify is a fast and easy job management app. Quote, invoice, automated reminders, a cool little mapping feature for those on the go. Another feature is the time sheets to help keep track of all your work hours across all your jobs. My favorite thing in Tradify is the job timer. Stop, start, pause a job, switch between other jobs with ease, and when you're done, simply create an invoice. Traderfy will total up all your hours, times by your hourly rate, send it off, and you get paid. Why don't you give Traderfy a go? I have a link in the description that'll give you a groovy little discount. Massive thank you to Traderfy for sponsoring this video and helping me go full business human. The other end of the hallway table is going to have tapered legs, very contrasting in comparison to the chunky side. Tapered legs with a round over looks pretty slick and is well worth all the extra steps until you realise you've made two identical legs, which does not work when they are laminated boards. The orientation was all wrong. I needed to make two opposite legs, so I had to do all the steps again. Fair dinkum. At least I have a spare now to experiment on with the open tenons I have got going. The bonus of laminating three boards together is when it is time to chisel out the waste to accept the same size board, you can simply chisel down to the colour change, mortises for dummies, I suppose. Starting to bring the frame together now, the dowels were not meant to be visible. They were originally meant to be on the inside, however I got one step ahead of myself. They do need to be there as these joints need some extra support as there is no lateral support because I am making a secret drawer. I figure somewhere to hide your car keys will be a popular feature in my part of the world right now. The drawer carcass will also provide a little structure, so I'm making sure it is nice and snug so I can glue it into position because it is a secret. Alright, just gotta check square. Oh shit. Legs are all squared up. The clamps were in fact pulling them all wonky donkey because of the secret drawer or lack of a lateral apron, which I think that's what it's called. I have these sampler tins of Whittle Wax Hard Wax Oil. In short, I love them already. I was well and truly overdue to try some new finishes that are not polyurethane. With the whole table finished, I decided to list the piece on Facebook Marketplace because I have had a lot of luck with this furniture category on that platform. It can be a little bit of a minefield of time wasters and a lot of people who don't value your time or work, they just want a bargain. Lucky for me, I found a nice buyer who does appreciate my stuff. I listed it for 500 kangaroo. The buyer stopped by for a look and offered $450. So now Harley's bench is done and I think it looks pretty special. We have had a lot of fun working through this project, learning new things, getting used to machines, and of course spending quality time together. That has been pretty unreal. Again, we listed his bench on Facebook Marketplace for $350. No real interest initially, so I threw it up on my website and sold. Happy days. I tell Harley making stuff is cool, selling your stuff and making a few coins is even cooler. Here's where the story gets a little bit different. I check out the shipping details and I immediately freak out when I see the address is overseas somewhere. I did not tick local pickup only. I have no idea where this person lives and I cannot even pronounce their name. It seems a bit odd. I then see a little note attached to the order. And to paraphrase, this person has been following along on Instagram and loves seeing a dad and his son making things. It reminded him of his dad and now himself with his own daughter. He also loved that the big log was from Harley's Poppy. So he bought the bench. Why? Simply because he wanted to see Harley give that bench back to his Poppy and keep it in the family. I was absolutely blown away, to say the least. Now, this person did a pretty good job at remaining anonymous with their very fake name and dodgy address. However, they did make a little mistake by paying with PayPal. So I got a separate receipt that had their full, real name. This was such a beautiful gesture, and I know that random internet person wants to remain anonymous. So I'm not going to name them. However, if you'd like to check out this video next, catch you later.